Hey, it's Eric with PDRC, and this is my Axialfest update. But actually, before we begin on that, I wanted to give a shout out to Treshawn. He is one of my YouTube followers, and he's also a customer here at the shop. And he wanted to get his very first RC car, and it was cool enough that he wanted to get it from here, and he ended up getting himself an Armacentin. And since he does YouTube and he's pretty comfortable on camera, I asked him, would you like to do an unboxing video? So he said, yeah, he wanted to do it. And so he came by the shop on his birthday, which was yesterday, and he did his very first unboxing video. Now, when I was first doing unboxing and I saw a couple of videos online, I figured, it's actually pretty easy. I mean, you open up a box and you comment on what's inside. But something happens in between standing in front of a camera and standing with the box in hand, and suddenly you find yourself like deer in headlights going, oh God, what do I talk about? And now for when I do my videos, I like to actually put myself on the spot, so it's a one and done. You know, I can cheat and open the box and go over the contents and get myself familiar with the material, but I kind of thought that the idea behind an unboxing was also like a reaction video. So you open it up and, you know, how does it go? So I think there's something a little bit more genuine about just doing a one and done. And that's exactly what he did too. Unprompted by me, I didn't coach him up or anything else. He did his first unboxing video. He did a one and done. I actually think his unboxing video is probably way better than anything I've done. So I'm going to go ahead and post that here on the channel as well. And if you go, click on the link down in the comments section, and that's going to take you over to Treshawn's YouTube page. Give him a check out, give him a shout out, let him know how he did. He's a cool little dude, and he's got himself a really nice car. So happy birthday. Thanks for doing me the honor of being on my channel. Thanks for swinging by the shop, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with the car. We're going to go ahead and move on now. We're going to go on to Axialfest, and I'm going to try to not over talk. This is another one of those unscripted kind of things. So what did I talk about on this car? Don't know. I don't remember. I talked so much about the different cars. I've gone through so many builds, so many inceptions, so many cars, but I wanted to build a core car, and I had built an SCX10 3. So what I've been doing with this vehicle, this is one of the ones that I actually intend to crawl with. I'm not really 100% sure if I want to comp with this one. The only reason being is that once I have all of my cars lined up, I'm planning on going and taking them up into the mountains, taking them out to my comp course in the back, giving them a try and seeing what exactly can I do, which one do I crawl better with. It's kind of like when somebody comes in the shop and they want a car, sometimes what you want isn't what you want. Looks good on the package, the wrapper is nice, but then when you go outside and you actually play with it, does it meet expectations, or, you know, is this one of those things where you kind of fell prey to the hype? Same thing with my cars. Like, I'll put in all this time, energy, attention to detail, and then, you know, is it something that I actually like? And I think that there has to be a bit of courage to say, no, I don't care how much money I invested, time, energy, thought behind it. If it's not right, it's just not right. So this is one of those times where I'm going to build up all of my cars. I'm going to see which ones I like. I was originally planning on taking like 30 of my axials, then I took the list down to like 20 of my axials, and then I've been building cars, you know, a lot, and just saying, okay, what if I did this, and what if I did this? So this is one of those times where I overthink, hopefully for the better. So this is an SCX10 3. This came out of the Axial Builders Kit. Now, things that I've done to this vehicle are going to be pretty self-evident. When you look at it, you're going to tell, well, one, I'm holding it where there's usually panels. I took a Dremel tool to this, cut it out, skeletonized it, just so that I could have these little rub rails down here, for nothing more than protecting the body. Past that, I'm trying to just kind of shell off as much weight as I can where I don't want it. That being said, I know there's a shorty pack that can go back here. However, on this one, my intent is to actually go the long haul with it. I don't want a long battery pack going across the back. I want it to be more balanced down towards the center. So I had to go and make a couple of sacrifices. So I hacked up a tray from a TRX4 and I bolted it down in the front, and then I hot glued it on the end over here. It just has to hold it in place. You don't actually pick up the car by it. By doing this, I'm trying to keep everything right down towards the center. I'm trying to control where my weight is. Now I have a quick run 1080 into the back over here with a Spectrum 515 on the receiver, Holmes 45 turn motor, Savox 2210 for the servo. And when you actually look at it, this is where the weight's at. The weight's right up here. So I've got a lot of weight up in the front and in the center in the front so that she's more top heavy. Now I did go with these 2.2 bead locks, but they're not extraordinarily high mass. Now these are the Rock Beast tires, and I'm going to try to give them a chance to see how are they going to perform on a transition between wood that's been cut, wood that's out in the woods, and of course actual rocks. I already know these things will crawl for days on rocks, but I want to kind of go through and see how they're going to do on, you know, something that's more smooth or slick. So I want to see how it's going to do on the pipe slider, etc. And so that's one of the ways that I'm going with this. So I don't have any additional weight in the back. I did throw in an RC four-wheel drive diff cover in the back just because it's kind of cool. And I did throw a skid plate down here on the bottom. So past that, I also trimmed down the rear bumper just to kind of make sure that it's not going to hook on anything, and I'm leaving the front alone. So trying to keep it light, I put 10 weight in the shocks just so that I get that little extra spring, keeping up a pretty good articulation. I also vented the tires. So if you're venting out a tire, I know that's something that you're going to generally do in a basher, but on bead locks like this, it has a tendency of capturing air. And when I destroyed the foam in the tires, I want these tires to smush, right? I want them to grab a hold of whatever it is I'm trying to crawl over. That footprint is everything, and your tires can look good for days, the vehicle can look amazing, but if it can't perform, it's like a windshield wiper on a dog's butt. It makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. So these tires here, I vented them. And the best way that I know to vent a tire is to take something like a soldering iron and just burn the holes in it. It's kind of like cauterizing a wound. It makes sure that it doesn't cut, it makes sure it doesn't split, and I think it does a really great job. I also hacked up the foam on the inside, and then when I did the foam in this, I actually cut the foam in half and then put everything inside the tire so that it can actually move. It can flop around on the inside. It can actually move with the obstacle. Sure, when I'm driving the vehicle, it's going to kind of look like, you know, it's going to sit there and go a little wonky on you, but honestly, I don't care what it looks like. I want it to perform, and I believe that this is going to be the best way for success on that, on getting it to go. Also, the cheat that I used is every single start point that's in this wheel right here, that's where I burnt my hole. So if you're trying to stay a little bit uniform and you're a bit OCD, that's the visual trick that I used. Moving on to the visual effects. So the body. I was talking to my sister Kim, and I told her I wanted to do kind of a memorial to my sister Leanna, and I was going to do it purple and silver, you know, try to incorporate some of her favorite colors, and then the logo for that dude Prince. And but she said no, Leanna would like something bright and obnoxious. Like she used to love the what was it, the Ford Splash, and it had that really bright color in there, that green, and it was just like, oh dear God, turn down the green. So I decided that, yeah, you know what, Kim's right, I'm going to go ahead and just paint this thing a wild color. So I actually have multiple shades of green inside of it. I use Spastic paint, so they have those, you can add in the green, pearl colors, etc. And so I threw those in there. Originally I tinted the windows, but the windows just looked awful. So I stripped the window tinting out, which by the way, I used alcohol to do that. It's a fun trick for a lot of paints, is you can use alcohol to strip out some paint. So if you make a screw up in a body, just alcohol and a Q-tip or alcohol and a shop towel. The kind that comes on a roll, not the kind that has fiber in it. And you can actually use that to remove a lot of paint. It's also a really good way to keep your lines nice and crisp too, so if you get some overspray. It works really well on Spastics paint, it works great with Duratrax paint. It does not work at all with Traxxas paint yet. So still trying to find something that works remarkably well on Traxxas paint where I'm not feeling like I'm trying to breathe in battery acid. So and something not too harsh on the plastic and keep it optically clear. I have not discovered that yet, but I'm working on it. But sorry, sidetracked. Anyway, so I pulled the tinting out of it so it's clear again, and what I want to do now is I think that shading effect that I like to do where I add in some silver up at the top and some darker color at the bottom and then follow it with the green. I think I'm just going to keep them green. The silver effect in there it clashed, it looked terrible, so the hell with that, I'm going to redo it. I'm going to add in some lights to it as well, and I do want to keep this thing as simple as possible. So I know a lot of folks like to add in the roll cage, and they also like to add in the body. I do not. Basically, I think that that's going to add in some extra weight. I honestly don't think that it's going to make the vehicle perform at all. And just like the way that I built up the vehicle, I'm about function over form. Sure, I want the body to look good, but at the end of the day, I really don't care about this body. It's going to get scratched, it's going to get beat up, it's going to get dinged up, and honestly, I just don't care. I want the car to perform and have a good time. When I fail out on the comp course, and I will fail on the comp course, I don't want it to be with a bunch of racer excuses. So, my car hung up, or blah, blah, blah. It's going to be because I'm a crappy driver. So, I'm really looking forward to seeing what the car is going to do. And then I'm going to go through and, check out all of the different cars that I built. But I definitely want to keep this one as a core car. I really like the SCX10 3. But we'll see how it does and how it works on the track, and more updates to follow for Axialfest. In the meantime, again, shout out to Treshawn. Dude, happy birthday. Appreciate you swinging by the shop, and looking forward to see if you come by the drag race today and seeing what your car will do. All right, well, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.